The Observer would like to advise that the following video comes with a trigger warning. The content in this video is of a sensitive nature, so please beware that the topic of this video may trigger you. The Observer recommends that you consider your own mental health before you watch this video.
Don't even supply them in the US anymore. Just shows that she is even getting them from vet websites, or she is getting desperate and she is scouring the dark depths of the web to try and find any tube that'll go up her nose.
Yeah, because I've had friends who have NFIT at home and then they were going into hospital, and this is maybe 6 months going in hospital. The hospital hadn't properly changed yet, because obviously changing an entire hospital stock is a lot harder than home health companies, as they call them in America, changing their stock for individual patients. So it's people in the US now, even in hospital, if they get a new tube, it's NFIT, and I know that there have been some problems then, if they have the old stock at home. But it seems for the past 6 months, even in America, it's all been NFIT, hospital and home health. So it's there are going to be people in America that have got those type of tubes left. So I think she would have got it from America just because of the end being a dual connector, which just means it had 2 little connections rather than one.
And the thing is, she said as well, she said on her live the other day why they changed those connectors. So it's quite funny that she said about the IVs and everything, but yet now she's sat there with that exact tubing.
I was going to say that. It was literally just in the past couple of days she was talking about the different types of ends.
I mean, it's slightly different, because the ones she was on about, which were the ones we used to have in the UK around 8 years ago, were actual IV ends. And hers is a catheter end. So Learlock is where it screws on, and catheter tip is where it pushes in. And I think one of the other problems a lot of people in America had was because those adapters push in, if you get gas or something, even you get pressure in your gut from having wind, it blows the adapter out, and then we call it feeding the bed, but people would wake up and in the middle of the night their adapter had been pushed out of their tube and all the feed had gone all over the bed. Whereas in the UK, our feeding tubes always had the IV type ends that were Learlock, so they screwed on. But either way, it's definitely not a human tube from this country. It's either a veterinary tube, which is unlikely because the end would be a different colour as well, or it's an American tube from someone who's got excess stock of that because they've moved over to NFIT now as well.
Yeah, because I've been tube fed 5 years. I've already gone straight on to NFIT. I've never had one of the tubes that Alice was talking about. I know this Facebook group as well. Apparently it wasn't just because of why they have stopped the surplus tubes going out.
Before I carry on, can I just say, this is being screen recorded by the Observer. Is that okay with both of you?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm obviously not going to dox anyone. They've stopped.
In case, obviously we'd like to get permission from people first, so
they stopped the tube situation going out to people because they're aware of other situations, not just what's going on, essentially, and for everyone's safety.
Yeah, that makes more sense why she hasn't posted in ages. I just find it really suspicious seeing that live now, that it's gone it's been about a week that they've said no more tubes going out, and all of a sudden she's got that medical human tube. It's really suspicious to me that, I don't know, because I'm on her Facebook. I'm blocked from her TikTok, but I'm on her Facebook. But I haven't seen her post in there for a long time.
No, I had a search on the groups that I was on. One of them that Secret Haven had posted in the video about her and what was going on. I had a look in there, and the last post was like 2022.
Yeah, I know a lot of those groups have put public posts saying that, you know, they have removed an individual from the group and they are doing more to safeguard people when it comes to buy-ins, because it's not even just like the case situation. I think whilst it is good,
selling stuff.
Yeah,
the thing that got me more though was, if you look at the history, she would ask for not even multiple feeds in different posts, multiple feeds in the same post. You can't just swap and change feed, especially if you've got like what she claims and like what me and I know this other person has got. Like, you can't just swap and change willy-nilly. You have to like not go back to square one as such, but you have to reduce the rate right down and then increase it again when you're changing feeds to see if your body like gets on with it. Because if you say you're on I don't want to give numbers because there might be people who struggle with EDs in here, but if you're on like quite a high rate, I'll just leave it at that, and you're not fed for like 24 hours a day, and you all of a sudden like change feed and use that rate with that feed, your body's going to be like, what the fuck, if that's your sole source of nutrition.
It's
you know what I mean? Like if you've eaten, like, I don't know, like I'll give it to you. So, like, if you've only ever eaten mashed potatoes for an entire year, and suddenly you eat a pizza, your body's gonna go, what the hell have you put into me? I don't like it. So in the same way, like, you've got to like reduce your rate back down and start again and increase it to make sure your body gets on with it.
Don't forget as well, feed is normally controlled by a dietitian on what your body needs.
Yeah, exactly. Because I saw one post where she asked for 3 different feeds, and they were different companies as well. She asked for Vital 1.5, which is an Abbott feed. She asked for Nutrition Soya, which is the Nutricia feed. And she asked for, it was either Nutrizon Peptide or Nutrizon, is it HNHP?
Yes.
Yeah, so she asked for all 3 in one post. Like, does anyone have any of these feeds? Because there's no stock. It's like you wouldn't ask for 3 separate feeds in one post, because your body, if you just suddenly swap from one to another, your body's not going to get on with it. You will find
at least that wasn't a red flag for the group when she posted that. And anyways, I'm surprised people didn't comment being like, what do you mean?
That you tolerate and you stick with it. Like I was on Osmolite, I didn't get on with that. Then some idiot put me on Gevity, which, for those who don't know, it's a high fibre feed, and for those with gastroparesis, fibre can really irritate your gut. So Gevity was like the devil for me. And then I got put on Vital, and I get on with Vital. Like, my weight's very up and down on it, but I don't have the symptoms I was having with the other 2, so I just stick with it. But yeah, you don't just swap from one to another because there's stock issues or whatever. They'll try and find you another one you tolerate.
Sometimes when she shows her feed cupboard, you can see the different brands of feed. And another question that I have, obviously I'm not clued up on the feeds. That's why it's great that we've got people like yourselves in the box. But we all know she is vegetarian. She eats vegetarian sweets. But I know there is a feed out there that is vegetarian or vegan, but it's very hard to get. But if she'd been on feed for this
long... There are a few. So Nutrizon Soya is vegetarian. I'm not sure about it being vegan, but I know it's vegetarian, and that's not terribly hard to get. There's Elemental Oat-Weight, which is very hard to get, and it's usually given to patients who have inflammatory bowel disease, so like Crohn's or colitis.
Yeah.
It's very rarely given for a number of reasons. So if you have the powder, it can only be in the bottle hanging for 4 hours. So if you're on feed for extended periods of time or you feed overnight, changing the bottle can be a bit of a nightmare. If you're on the pre-prepared cartons that you pour in, you have the same issue. You still got to change it every 4 hours. Elemental oat weight is also very expensive, and it's also very low calorie. It's like 0.8 calories, and it doesn't have very much protein. It's the only, as far as I know, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, it's the only fully elemental feed. So elemental is broken down. You have lots of feeds that are partially elemental, so partially broken down, but elemental oat weight is like completely broken down. Sometimes it's like a last resort before TPM because it's completely broken down as well. I know that one's vegan, but for all the reasons mentioned, they don't like giving it.
Yeah.
I've just looked at the ingredients on the back of my feed bottle. I've got a feeling mine could be vegetarian because I can't see anything sticking out to me. I know it's gluten-free, but there's like no fish oil or anything in this.
Like mine is lactose-free but not dairy-free, so it has a milk protein, so it's not suitable if you have a milk protein allergy, but it doesn't have lactose, so I do okay with it. But yeah, I know Nutrition Soya is, well, if you're with Nutricia as your feed company, it's fairly easy to get. I don't know about if you're with Abbott, because I'm with Abbott, but I've only ever been on Abbott feed. Yeah, like I'm with Abbott and I've only ever been on Abbott feeds, but I know people who are with Nutricia who haven't really had a problem getting it, but I think that's because the feed is made by Nutricia, so if you're with Nutricia already, it'll be easier. Yeah.
I think another thing people need to notice as well is that when you watch her, she's normally on live of an evening, and normally around 9:30, 10, she'll say, I need to put my feed on. I haven't had my feed on the fluid at all today.
Hang on.
And then you'll
Sammy
see
said she's with Abbott. In the posts on Facebook, Sammy, she said she's with Nutricia.
Yeah.
Every time she said she's with Nutricia.
Yeah.
So she might be saying she's with Abbott on Facebook, but when she's asking people for feeding tube supplies, she always says she's with Nutricia.
But we know differently because obviously her lives have the Abbott pump.
She's not only that though, but there are screenshots. I don't know if they're floating around because I came off TikTok for a long time. There was a live where basically I had enough and I went away for like months, but like there were screenshots posted in one of that person's lives where she admitted to stealing 2 Abbott pumps. And she's stolen a Nutricia pump in the past, and she's got a Nutricia pump off another content creator. So, and she had an Amica pump, which is another company. Again, a lot of those people are being switched to Nutricia anyway. But there's 3 different brands of pump. You've got Nutricia, Abbott, and the Amica, which is, I can never pronounce the name.
It's Carby.
That one. So she's got all 3 companies' pumps, and she's got 2 of the Abbott and 2 of the Nutricia. You wouldn't have that. Like, it's really hard for people to get a spare pump, because I'm in a special needs Facebook group as well, and there are people in that group who struggle. Like the school, they've got kids in a special school that do have like a nursing department, because before I got really unwell, I did a placement in one of those schools, and the school asked for a pump to be had at school and a pump to be had at home, and these parents are struggling to get 1 pump for school, 1 pump for home, let alone her having 5 pumps from 3 different companies. That just would not happen.
I've only got a Nutricia pump as a backup because my hospital I'm under in London gave me that pump so I could feed travelling home on the train because my Abbott pump had died. That's the only reason why I've got that. I don't use it. I've got it as a backup. They've told me to keep it in case this goes in the middle of the night and I can't ring. But the other thing is every single pump has its own type of giving set. They are all different.
Yeah, And the Amica ones, the feed is still bags. It's not bottles. It's bagged.
It's
With the
it's
Amica
not just
pump.
the feed that she says about the stock supply as well. I don't know if people remember back when we had that heat wave, she turned around and she said that the company that supply her fluids have got no stock supply shortage,
It's
and they left her
ridiculous.
3 days without any fluids.
Right.
Now,
Loopy Loo, yeah. Loopy Loo worked for her, but yeah, you can get deliveries within 6 hours in an emergency. And if your pump breaks, they ask for the old pump and the old charger. And every pump has like a serial number and a scanner thing on it. And if your pump breaks, at least with Abbott, I don't know about other companies, but when they bring you the new one, you have to, like, within a couple of days, you have to send back the old pump as well. So she wouldn't have like 5 pumps and 4 not working either, because she'd have had to have sent them back. But yeah, you get an like if your pump breaks or there's an emergency, at least with Abbott, they can come out within 6 hours. For me, it was 7 hours.
Can I just butt in a minute and say something? You just said with Amica feeds, it's all bags and not bottle feeds. Well, not Carly's with Amica and hers are bottle feeds.
Really? Because I've never seen Amica bottle feeds before. I've only ever seen like the white plasticky.
Yep, Carly's are bottles.
Bags.
She's not in bags, she's in bottles.
Is it maybe different with the paediatric stuff?
I don't know, but Carly's is bottled. And I know quite a few people that are on the Amica pump that are bottled as well.
That's my mistake, because like I only know like 2 or 3 people on the Amica, and I go off like what I've seen in the Facebook feeding tube groups and stuff, and I've only ever seen the bags, so that's my mistake. I stand corrected. But yeah, I'd only ever seen with Amica, like, they're a weird shape as well, the bags. They're not the same as like the old Nutritia bags. They're square, but you hang them by the corner. I don't know if that makes sense.
yeah, like Sammy said, it's about learning, but also for people who do watch her, you'll notice that you'll notice that she says at about 10 o'clock, I haven't had any feed, any fluid all day. She'll put them on for 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and
but
then
she's like sat there drinking Monster the entire time.
but this
Like,
the
I
thing
haven't had
that
any
she
feed or
claims-
any fluid apart from like 5 bottles of Monster. Like,
I was going to say that the ironic thing is about all of this, all the pumps and all the different feeds.
there was
she's got, she never
something
bloody
else that I
takes it.
wanted to mention as well. She says I haven't had any feed or any fluid yet, and she's on all day doing her medication. My medication alone comes to a lot of fluid, and I don't do as much as her, like medication wise. I don't
She only
push
has 2
nearly as much
liquids.
as her. But
She has 2 liquids. She said it online.
like if you crush it and mix it with
you a minute?
water, that classes as fluid.
obviously.
Can I just stop you a minute? When can I just say, when someone's talking, can people not talk over people? Because yeah, it's not fair.
But yeah, like I was saying, sorry, I felt like I just butt over you then, Kirsty. But
I'm muted, so I just needed to say that because people are trying to say stuff and then other people are talking over them, and it's not fair.
well, like if you notice, she'll say that she hasn't had any feed or fluid. She'll put it on for 10 minutes, then she'll take it off. I mean, she either ends alive because she knows it's about to drain, or you'll see it draining and then she'll end alive. But bearing in mind, she doesn't eat anything according to her, solely tube fed. She gets all her nutrition from her feed. She's supposed to be on it 22 hours a day. 10 minutes of feed a day, 10 minutes of fluid a day. She would not be here. She'd be extremely malnourished, and this isn't a comment about her weight. We don't comment about weight, but she does not appear to be malnourished.
I don't know whether you've noticed, but she seems to tolerate a huge amount of fluid down at NG when she's doing her meds. She doesn't seem to like have any kind of physical reaction or start to feel unwell because of it. She pushes so much fluid down at NG, and I'm surprised that someone who can tolerate fluid to that volume would be given IV fluids. If you're managing to push it all down your NG, why would you not just be slowly filling?
it's not just the quantity, it's the speed, which she has changed since so many people said she pushes at least the 60 ml syringes, she pushes way too fast. Which usually, I say usually, with people fed into their intestines, you have to like slow down a bit because like your stomach is designed to stretch out and grow, and your intestines aren't designed to like stretch to that extent. Like they do stretch a bit, but you can go from like the size of a pear to the size of a football with your stomach.
Yeah.
And your intestines aren't designed to do that, so you don't push really fast because it can cause like cramping and stuff. And when you said about not appearing malnourished, it's not even just about weight with people who are malnourished. Like you can be malnourished at any weight. You can be obese and still be malnourished if you're not getting the right stuff. Like if you live off a diet of just bread, you'd be malnourished even if you're overweight. But like you'd have like sunken in eyes, you'd have hair loss, you'd have like your nails wouldn't be healthy, your skin wouldn't be healthy.
Sorry, but that is what I meant when I said doesn't look malnourished. Nothing to do with weight. It's more the fact, you know, her hair looks healthy. Her nails are obviously very healthy because they're long. Her skin, her eyes aren't sunken in, and also the energy levels. She's got enough energy to come on live and talk and talk and talk and do this whole medical episode, but she wouldn't have that if she was malnourished. She'd be exhausted, on top of having chronic fatigue syndrome as well, not really sleeping much. She'd be completely wiped out. You know it yourself, if you go, I know it isn't a great comparison, but if you go a while without eating, you feel sluggish, you feel awful in yourself.
Yeah, and this is a girl who 90% of the time doesn't look like she has her feed on. And if she's not eating, I mean, how little she would be getting. She would be so poorly. Like physically, she would look very poorly, wouldn't she, if she was getting that little intake?
Well, part of me thinks she only runs the feed to the end of the giving set and stops it anyway. So where the tubing connects to the feeding tube, for those who don't know about giving sets, they're what connects like the feed to the pump to you. Like if she's running it only to the end, it stops where that bit of tubing connects to her feeding tube. And I've never heard the pump in the background, never heard it beep, never heard it like making its little whizzy sound as it runs stuff. So, you know, like, and at least with me, I don't know about her, but with any type of intestinal tube I've had, if I go from lying to sitting up, my pump like screams at me and says I've occluded my tube because of the position I'm in. But that wouldn't be everyone. Obviously, everyone's a bit different, and it depends like how far into your intestines your tube is, what type of intestinal tube you've got. But I've never heard an occlusion alarm, which would be impossible for someone who's supposed to be fed as much as she is. She would have at least have had a few occlusions in the time she's been on TikTok.
And you'll notice with the meds, when she pushes the meds, she drinks straight after it. Straight away, she'll pick her drink up and gulp massively. Mm-hmm. And to me, that just screams, you know, you're pushing these meds in and then drinking to help it drain out. Because with the feed, because I think the feed's on a very low rate, so that's why it doesn't all drain straight away, because it's only dripping in. But then when it all obviously accumulates and starts to, you know, form in a bigger group, should we say, that's when it starts coming out. It takes about 10 minutes from connecting it for it to start coming out. And, you know, the evidence of that is there on my page. I've got the video, which is clear as day. There's 2 tubes exactly the same colour. She'd been on live for like 2 hours. She didn't have a cup of tea. She didn't have a milkshake, nothing. It was pure feed coming out of the tube.
And she says she doesn't eat and stuff like that, but there was one, I don't know if it was you or Alex that posted it, but whatever was draining out definitely looked carby to me. Like, bearing in mind that I've been draining for the majority of the time I've been tube fed, and it looked like it was like bread or biscuits or something. Now I can't eat bread as it is, but if I like drench toast in butter, for example, to make it really soft, I can eat it, but it takes longer for me to be able to drain. So say I had a smoothie, I could connect a bag to my peg and it would drain out pretty quickly. If I had something like that, I'd have to wait maybe an hour. But whatever she had looked carby, like potato, biscuit, bread, it was white and like clumpy.
We know she eats. You know, we've got proof of her eating. She gets takeaways. We know she gets takeaways.
Yeah, it was just a case of like knowing exactly what that was.
She sat there and told her mods as well that she's had a whole packet of custard creams. She sent pictures to her mods of her with food. You know, we've got the watermelon picture of her sitting there eating half a watermelon, but then she says that fruit and vegetable is the worst thing, and that's one thing she'd never touch. But she's tucking into half a watermelon. She slips up as well. She says,
I saw that picture and I literally cringed, not in a cringe like this is cringy way, in a like if I eat any fresh fruit it makes me feel like complete crap way. Because occasionally I will have something that's mostly water, like watermelon, but not like that. I mean, like I'll be chopping it up into tiny pieces because I've got pet rats, and I'll have a couple of pieces as I'm chopping it up because I just like miss the taste. But the majority of the time I'll spit that out because I know how much it hurts my stomach and how hard it is to drain. But yeah, like occasionally I'll do that, but I won't eat half a watermelon, and I don't think my 3 rats could eat half a watermelon either, to be honest.
Can I just check Kirsty's army? Your box is lit up a few times. Was there something you wanted to say?
Certain medications, when they're pushed down the judge too fast, they really do hurt. One of them in particular is Omorph. It burns if you push it so fast down it. I have to do mine really slow, like all my meds really slow because the pain hurts.
Oromorph I have to dilute to put it down.
Can we not? Can we not interrupt? Can we not interrupt because she's trying to talk and a lot of people in the comments saying can we not talk over each other? So can we let Kirsty's army talk, please?
I have to do it like all my meds, my flush, like over 10 minutes. I have to do it really slow. If I do it too fast, my stomach will distend and I'm in pain then, which defies the object of taking pain relief because it's giving me more pain. And the other one, I don't know if everyone gets it, but because I'm on tube feed, I've got something called Forceful. It's a multi-vitamin and food supplement. It's like an orange tablet you dissolve in water.
Oh. Is that like an electrolyte replacement type medication?
It's got like multivitamin, so like what you or someone could go to the shop and buy, but it's probably got a bit more in it because it's prescribed.
Yeah.
I've never seen her take that if she's saying she's completely reliant on that tube.
It's really high in vitamin C because I was on it and then I got put on like sachets of something. I'll have to message you on Facebook when I find out because then I got taken off them because my vitamin levels went back up after an admission. But when I said like how sick Forcible was making me, they put me on like sachets that didn't make me as sick as the Forcible. Because I know like a lot of people get sick of it. Also, in the feeding tube group we were talking about earlier, other people have mentioned those sachets as well. So if you search Forcible in the search bar of that Facebook group, you might be able to find the name of those sachets quicker than I can.
Just considering she says she never leaves the house, why is she not on vitamins to replace what she's not getting from sunlight? If she's
she does occasionally say she's mixing electrolytes with her fluids, but that is very, and I think it's Diorolite, which obviously you can buy over the counter because she has said a few times, "Oh, I'm going to put my Diorolite in it."
that's more if you've had like a vomiting or sickening bug to replace it, electrolytes, if you've like been sick or dehydrated. But if she's not going out or getting any sunlight, I think most people in this country lack it. Because I know
like I'm on a high. Go on.
I know tube train drivers in London get prescribed something because they're always driving trains in the dark to replace. Yeah, their vitamin. It's I can't remember. I don't know which one what vitamin it is. If you lack sunshine,
It's vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
Why?
I'm on a once a week high strength vitamin D. So there's one that you can take every day, and there's one that's a much higher strength that you can take once a week. And it depends on your blood levels. So like when I was admitted when I first got the feeding tube, they decided to put me on the weekly one, even though it's more expensive based on like my numbers. But if it's a different number, then you can get put on one that you take every day. But it depends on the consultant and the person as well. But it's definitely vitamin D from being inside and away from sunlight.
Because if she's only having, like you say, secret, turning her feed on and running it for 5 minutes, not even running it at all, she won't be getting anything from her feed.
Yeah, sorry, can I just say, I have just had to mute someone. We try not to, but please just keep the comments nice, you know. People comment in the boxes, the big thing, sort in the boxes, and I don't want anyone telling anyone to shut up and stuff, so that's just clarify why someone's just been muted. Just please be nice.
But yeah, if she's like a hermit and doesn't leave her house, why is she not on a vitamin D thing if she's not having feed either?
And even regular people in the UK. Sorry.
Yeah. If she's going to leave her house.
Sorry.
It's fine. Obviously, there's going to be times where people both go to sleep at the same time.
Go on, becoming me. You can speak.
People in the UK are renowned for having low vitamin D, especially nowadays, and especially kids with not playing out like they used to. Like I'm sitting playing video games. Even just healthy people have got really low vitamin D levels in this country, apparently. I know my son's paediatrician was saying that actually recommend everyone takes a vitamin D supplement. So especially if you're never leaving in the house, it's going to be even more risk of having low vitamin D.
Just thought I'd add the vitamin D, because if she's not even just putting the feed up so it looks like it's going down the tube, she won't be getting any feed at all.
And she doesn't even have any. Well, I mean, is she saying this could be a case there because I don't leave my house, my vitamin D's okay, but I take supplements. I was prescribed them, but I just, because I'm terrible with pharmacy to repeats, I just take supplements. But so it might be a case of these prescribed tablets that she's got, they could just be vitamins.
Yeah.
And that's why her vitamin levels are fine. Because even if it was a case of, you know, something in her vitamin levels, her folic, you know, anemic, whatever it was, she would have to have some sort of vitamin if she wasn't leaving the house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's incredibly dangerous, the fact that she's on 24-hour drainage, which she does seem to be, and the fact that she's not getting feed, because you lose so much in electrolytes, especially coming out of your stomach, and it needs to be replaced. And even people on feed often have to have these supplements on top of their feed. But the fact that she's not got her feed running, I mean, she could literally be giving herself a heart problem, you know, if her potassium's dropping, or, you know, her sodium levels are going off because she's just draining all of her stomach contents. She could actually end up with a genuine illness.
That's what concerns me as well, because she has like the fakey shaky episodes, but low potassium can cause seizures.
Mm-hmm.
And
she is on iron now. Well, she claims she's on iron. That's a new thing that she's claiming. So we'll just say that.
But she could have a real cardiac arrest.
I'm not being funny, but
that's what I mean. Like, how do all these new mods for her know the difference between a fake seizure and a real one, especially when they've been told not to call anyone? It'll be the boy who cries wolf. One day she'll either OD and people will think it's low blood sugar and won't call anyone, or she'll have a seizure from like low potassium from constantly draining or whatever, And again, people won't call anyone because they're told not to call anyone. It will eventually get to that, like, where people have been told not to call anyone and they're too scared because she love bombs them in the beginning.
We're not talking about the court thing. If anyone wants to know who this girl is, the pinned video on my profile gives a bit of a rundown. You heard. Sorry.
You want to check your sugar, sweet?
She took her own cannula out the same as she put it in herself as well. She is the nurse from down the road. Plot twist.
Can we have a mod check? Please.
Can anyone explain what that is she does when she does her twitches?
It's just her being a bellend.
It's like I said before, it's like a short circuit in a robot where it's like going out like, yeah, then it's dying.
Well, anyone with seizures, do you experience that before a seizure? Do you start ticking?
Carly doesn't tick, but she twitches. But not like she does.
She's coming off.
Oh, she doesn't know what to do.
So she's come off, but will she ring the mods?
No.
And that is something we will find out. If she doesn't ring the mods, she doesn't want her dad ringing, she doesn't want an ambulance called, she doesn't want to go on live, what is she doing? Just seizing in the house on her own and hoping she comes round.
What did she push before she put her feet up?
I think it was just
Was it just water?
yeah.
Oh.
No, I think she gave herself. It was something cloudy and then pushed water, didn't she? She had something. I'm sure it was like a 10 or 20 ml syringe, and then she got the 60 out.
I'm not sure.
Naomi, she's not end of life at all. No.
That's quick.
What she isn't. We don't give out her username. Yeah, Lauren, she's doing this.
And to be honest, guys, there's really no use in her username. She's private. Like you'll not get anything from looking at it.
Yeah. She but if people have questions, we'll be more than happy to answer, you know. We've got experience with her. We've got people in the comments who've been mods. We haven't been mods, but we've been affected by her. You know, we've been watching her for a long time. We know that.
Now, do you know when you were saying about twitching?
Yeah.
And what Kirsten were doing then? Now, Carly seems to do this. I'll get a video of her tomorrow. I can't now because obviously I'm on here. But when she's falling asleep, she twitches quite a lot. Her eyes twitch, her hands twitch, her arms twitch. But got to remember, Carly is on, and I know Carly's on controlled medications, and she's on a few different medications. You know what I mean? That are controlled ones, like Kirsten says she has. But Carly twitches going to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is she nodding out?
Probably. It sounds like it because Carly does twitch when she's going, and her eyes go to like her eyes roll a bit, and it's not. It's
That's
just.
why I wanted to ask, because obviously I don't have seizures, but she does it. She does it on and off, and she does it for a while before a seizure. So I was just wondering if people who are on here who have seizures or witness seizures, I've only ever seen it twice in my life, is that a normal thing?
No, and I think it's just the normal body's response to. Well, I wouldn't say normal because I don't do it. But you know, like going to sleep.
Yeah, it's a known thing. My ex is a grown man with no health problems. He used to do it. The second you'd start falling asleep, he would do like full body twitches, like almost to the point of kicking us.
Babies do it a lot as well, don't they?
Do, yeah.
If she
Yeah,
starts it again in a minute because she's opened her eyes again now, but when she next closes her eyes to go back to sleep, I'll put the camera on her hand. I'm not going to put it on her face while she's going to sleep, but I'll show you what her hand does. So you can see what I mean.
Yeah.
I love what all the other women in the chat saying my partner does it when he's falling asleep, does me. Don't.
Oh, yeah.
Alex twitches when he's going to sleep.
I jump.
I think we all have that as well when you're falling asleep. Do you know, like if you're on your phone and you have this like nod and you suddenly pull your head back up and you're like, whoa, like that kind of thing. I think she's seen it in people and Kirsten thinks that she's kind of doing a good impression. I think that's all it is.
Yeah, a lot of people twitching in the sleep, which I understand in the sleep. I was confused whether you know it's part of the seizure, the epilepsy.
I think it might potentially got something weird in the chat. Someone called Bum Bum says they want to join.
I'm just catching up. Sorry, with the.
Says they want to join.
I swear this is the same person that.
I'm just catching up. Sorry, with the.
Says they want to join.
Oh, you both mute at the same time.
Definitely Kirsty, that one. Bum Bum, go away, Bum Bum.
People keep ringing ambulance.
I just love how, do you know when anyone says to her, oh, you look tired, are you tired? She's always like, I'm not tired, I'm just unwell. And it's like, you're literally making out you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, like the clues in the name. I think you've got a bit of a wrong diagnosis if you don't get fatigued.
Yeah. But, well, whilst everyone's here, she had an ambulance this morning, and guess what happened? You're never going to believe it. Honestly, it was a miracle. So the ambulance took her while she was like KO'd. She woke up in the ambulance, said, okay guys, I'm fine now. So they took her home.
No.
On the way to hospital, she woke up, said, I'm all right, guys. And they just said, yeah, all right, love.
We'll take you back.
Yeah, we'll go back. Doesn't happen. Does not happen.
You know, you live all by yourself and you have, a lot of seizures and hypos and you're paralysed. They would just take you back. See you later.
And it's
She'll take the kettle on for you.
amazing as well how she came out.
On, the Kirsten Wheelie fraud page.
Yeah.
There's a video on there of her saying it. Can you get it
Okay.
up?
The video.
Yeah, of her saying it.
Got it up, guys.
Oh, I didn't realise there was an actual video of it. That's brilliant.
No video.
No, because I'll wet myself. Because this is just too far now.
Ugh.
I know exactly, Meg. Like, I think they took her through Mackey's drive-through, brought her home, put the kettle on, took her into bed, and then went back to their business.
And the thing is, they take her to hospital, and then she could, leave the hospital. But they wouldn't just turn the ambulance round because they've got a duty of care. And if she's had a seizure, how is she coming round from that seizure straight away and saying, yeah, all right, thanks for that, guys, me weekly outing?
Yeah, she wouldn't even be deemed competent to make those kind of decisions, like as soon as straight away after a seizure. Lauren, she was very interested in my dog's meds.
Your dogs?
That's what someone's put in the comments. I'm guessing they're talking about Kirsten.
Well, let's have a look at this. Apparently, guys, she stopped breathing in the ambulance.
Very interested in my dog's meds. Your dogs? Lauren, come on.
Lauren. Wait, what?
No.
I mean, what dogs do you, what meds do you, yeah, listen to them and I'll stop.
What?
Right, how do I turn this off? Effects.
Yeah, I was thinking that she probably wants to buy them.
I can believe it at this point as well, but
It's not the point, is it?
Is it this one?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Crash later. Speak English.
No, sorry, go on to Chronic Lives.
Or is it this
Their
one?
life, not just a old retirement.
No, go on to Chronic Lives.
Okay.
That's where I seen it.
Chronic lives.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rosie, bless you.
Don't know, I might still have some of the medication left from when my dog got parvo if she wants
This one.
That is my Carolina that just pulled up in a minute. I'll have to look at my camera to see. Because if it is, I need to go. Hi, Caitlin. Did I manage some sleep after this morning? No, love. Oh, bless her heart. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, Caitlin, no. I actually ended up nearly on my way to hospital.
Nearly on my way.
Managed to basically come out of what was happening and then basically get them to turn the ambulance around after a lot of persuading and making sure I had capacity and all that shit. And then came home again. So I got the ambulance to bring me back home. But they shouldn't have done, but they got that management and said, she has capacity, you really, anyway.
They got that management?
We have no choice but to do that. So, yeah, I came back home. They said it was dangerous, but nah, I'm okay. I'm actually a lot happier now.
Don't bloody love it.
I'm a lot cheerier this afternoon, which is nice. Thank you, Chelsea. You don't have to take gifts, my lovely. Oh, bless her. That was the same as me, lovely. I had a tonic clonic this morning. Tonic clonic, yeah. And I needed rescue meds, which is why the ambulance came, because the ambulance gave the rescue meds. Which is why they were going to take me into hospital, because I stopped breathing. But that was all sorted. Bit of ambi-bagging, bit of oxygen, all good. I mean, not good, but obviously I'm all good now, so that's
Quick
the main
trip
thing.
to Tesco and straight back home.
So yeah, I feel you on that.
Hell.
Bless her though, I'm sorry she's going through that, it's really awful. Bless her heart, sending love to both of you. And I only know that happened because they told me when I'd come round in the ambulance, but yeah.
How did you come round with complex
Everything, is why I'm actually so hyper because, yeah, I haven't slept, I'm overtired probably, but anyway.
She is really hyper, bouncing off the walls. Yeah, guys, this was when her carer came. This was 5 o'clock. Now her carer's there for an hour. 6 o'clock, she came back on live at 7 p.m. with the new change. This is 2 hours before she came on live with a different NJ tube. So, how has she gone and got a new NJ in 2 hours? When people wait days. And not just an NJ, a horse NJ.
Bless her. Yeah, bless her heart. It's good the teachers can give it, to be honest, thank God for that. Otherwise that could have been, a lot worse, I guess, but bless her.
Bless her, it's a good job the teachers can give her. It could have been a lot worse, I guess, with a frown on her face. Is she jealous that her child had a seizure?
Yeah, she will be. It's Kirsten.
But can I just get this right? So she was in an ambulance, she'd had a seizure, she needed rescue med, she stopped breathing, they put her in the ambulance, took her there, she came round, said that she wanted to go home. So they rang some manager somewhere and said, okay, we've got this 25-year-old epileptic who's paralysed from the waist down, who has hypo, she stopped breathing, we'll give her rescue meds, can we take her home? Is that all right? They were like, oh, well, yeah, no, it's a bit dangerous, but yeah, you can do it, go on then. Fuck off.
But come with me, were you there? You've just explained it perfectly.
I was the manager they called. I was like, wait, aye man, she's fine, take her home. Can you stick the kettle on for her?
I'd love to know is there any paramedics or ex-paramedics in the chat that can confirm what the protocol will be if someone came round in an ambulance. Bearing in mind, can I just say that when you normally come round from a seizure, you don't just go, "Oh, right, thanks guys, yeah, I think I'm all good now." You know, you're groggy, you're sleepy, you're confused. And she said that it took ages of persuading. So they
How long does it take to get to hospital? How long was she in this bloody ambulance? They managed to ring a manager, do a capacity assessment.
But
Sorry.
like, you just park up on the side of the road while you're allowed to chimag. Stop off at Starbucks. Well,
Chesney, are you a paramedic? Someone just said put me on, but I don't know whether she's meaning like because she's. Yeah, she has info to help with this. Chesney.
no one's requesting under that name.
If you want to request, Chesney.
Morgan said, I'm not a paramedic, but I'm a neuro nurse. Any prolonged seizure needing rescue is an admission to hospital.
Plus, not breathing as well.
She wasn't breathing.
I work Charlotte. I work on the ambulances. They will take her to hospital regardless. My sister was a paramedic, and I can tell you now they would not just turn around.
They wouldn't. They're not a fucking taxi service, are they? They're not going to turn back round and take her on because they feel like it.
There we go.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
So yes, I just recently left from being a 999 call handler, was for many years. Absolute bullshit. Can't happen, wouldn't happen. So as most ladies know on here, after a seizure, they wouldn't take your word for, because you're still out of it. They wouldn't take your word. People say so much shit when they come out of a seizure. It's unbelievable. Most of the time they're not talking, but if they are talking, they're not making any sense. So they wouldn't take her word for that at all. Impossible. And if they've given her rescue meds or they've given her any form of treatment and that ambulance is already moving, they have to take her in. It's as simple as that. They won't be calling anyone. They have to take her in. The only time you can stand down an ambulance is if they haven't left the property yet.
Yeah.
You cannot stand down an ambulance en route. Even if, like how it's been crazy at hospitals, they have to sit in the car park sometimes and wait hours with their patient because they can't hand them over. It's exactly the same thing. They cannot be stood down en route.
And what's your opinion on when she said that she's had CPR and being left at home and not being taken in after having CPR?
No, she would have been taken. There's certain conditions where you don't need someone's permission to take them in. You can take them in if there's been self-harm, if there's been domestic violence, seizures, anything that's involved coding, any form of coding. I think there's a few others. But yeah, there's a list of ones where you don't need their permission. They have to be taken in. And they would be in for a while. It's disgusting. It's absolute bullshit. And
and was she had CPR, she wasn't breathing, she had a seizure, she had rescues, all the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And they just said, yeah, you find stay at home, and she was alone as well. No one was there with her.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's quite a few where you don't even need their permission to take them in. And if they refuse, you can actually they can actually phone the office and get a 146 section where it's permission to take them in. It's only a quick phone call. They say the reasons why, blah, blah, blah. And then they get permission to take them in on a section, basically.
Ask about the air ambulance. I'm just doing the baby's meds.
So she's said multiple times that she has had an air ambulance out because of her seizures. Now, when we've gone on the website of her area's air ambulances, there hasn't been any gone to her area. Because obviously, you know, we don't work in paramedics or anything, so what would be the situation regarding air ambulances? Like, would someone having a seizure go in an air ambulance?
Potentially, if they stopped breathing, potentially, but air ambulances are not the first on scene. They can't be. So what normally happens when someone calls in, within the first few seconds, it's reasonably obsessed and there's an ambulance on its way. If it's then because someone's coded or something serious, you can then send what we call an advanced paramedic, which
That's
is
the car.
they're the car. And then if they get there, they can ask for helimed while they're on the way, or they can ask for helimed when they get there. But it's not the normal ambulance crew that would request helimed. It would be the advanced or one of us in the office. But that's very rare, and it wouldn't be for season,
And what would be the
unfortunately.
criteria? Like, it's someone's residential property in a home. What would be the criteria that you would even need an air ambulance?
Extreme blood loss, certain medications. There's a couple of drugs, painkiller drugs that can be administered by the advanced paramedics. So not like the normal guys, the advanced one in the car. And if he gives that certain medication, then they can be requested to be flown in. I can't remember what the med is, but it's a certain medication that has to be monitored when they give it to them.
Begin with K.
Yeah, ketamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd be looking at like extreme trauma in that situation.
Yeah. So, and like I said, there would have been already someone on scene to assess it. For them, so to be in a house, to get one in a house, there has to have been a paramedic requesting it, or an advanced paramedic requesting it. The only time they start going before anyone's there is if it's like road traffic collision, shootings, stabbings, extreme locations, that kind of thing. That's the only time that they could possibly get there before an ambulance crew. But 9 times out of 10, it's the advanced paramedic that would request one.
So I guess for a 25-year-old female who's had an epileptic seizure requiring CPR in a residential house, there's not really anything around that you would think that would need an ambulance.
It sounds terrible, but that's just a standard Cat 1 call.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really harsh as I say that, but that unfortunately, even, you know, a child not breathing, any kind of not breathing, that's just a standard Cat 1 call.
And would you agree it would actually probably be more complicated to get an air ambulance to a residential property than it would be to get a regular ambulance?
Yeah. And like I said, it wouldn't happen. It really wouldn't, because they're so limited. You know, there's not that many, and they are reserved for multiple casualties, you know, RTCs, you know, we're talking real trauma-based stuff. Where they would potentially need to go to hospitals further afield. You know, like sometimes
hospitals.
Yeah, like if it's an RTC and that, you know, the person's quite, you know, got neurological problems or something, they could be flown to a specialist hospital, because obviously helimed can get there quicker. But like I said, that's already been assessed. That would have been assessed and requested by an advanced paramedic.
Yeah. And I guess it wouldn't be unusual for like air ambulances to go between hospitals as a planned kind of trip between hospitals as well. But I guess that's not what this girl's claiming, is it?
No, yeah, but again, that wouldn't really happen, because I mean, you know, ambulances on blue lights and sirens, they're an 8-minute call. You know, they should be there within 8 minutes. I know the times can be shocking sometimes, and they're not always, but they should be aimed to be there within 8 minutes. And unfortunately, someone coding is just a standard Cat 1 call.
And you also get a lot of them. So obviously the air ambulance can't go to every single, if that was the case so many times.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I'm in Wiltshire, and we've only got 2 that we had access to, and they're so protected. You know, it's a big deal for one to be sent out, a really big deal. Not just that, it's the fuel costs and stuff to run them. Then they're not cheap, and they're not sent out unless, you know, it's a big deal.
A lot of them rely on like charity money to help run them as well, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you see them sometimes if, you know, if it's not that serious, but someone's been out hiking, you know, you might get one then because they're in the middle of nowhere. But, you know, definitely no, you wouldn't get one for a seizure at home. And again, this sounds absolutely awful, but a known epileptic, you know, it's more serious. Someone first having one that's not, they get more worried about.
Yeah.
I can agree to that because when my little girl, she's 4 and she's epileptic, and she's always been a Cat 1 call when we've had to ring. But then there's times where they've come out and they've said, "Oh, right, well, are you happy to stay home or do you want to take her in?" But
yeah, because they ask you, I don't know if you've been asked on the phone, you know, they say, you know, is she a known epileptic? That's normally, you know, we ask that pretty, and that's not because we're going to downgrade it or anything. You still get a Cat 1, but it's so that they know what they're dealing with, and whether you guys know what you're dealing with, and then we give extra instructions like, you know, don't try to hold them, you know, all those kind of instructions where, you know, if they're known epileptics, 9 times out of 10, especially if you're children, you know what you're doing. You've been there, you've done it. Yeah. But yeah, so it's just absolute bullshit. It's like I said, once they have left that property and they have informed the hospital that they are going there, under no circumstances can they divert back. They can't. Not even we could tell them to.
Because she said as well, didn't she?
A little bit left out that Kirsten's had all these air ambulances and Corey hasn't, you know.
Do you know what? I worked for them for years. I'm obviously not working any longer because of my health, unfortunately. But I worked for them for years, and I never got to send an air ambulance. So I'm upset now because I've never got to send one.
The Norfolk you'll be doing all the time.
Yeah, never got to send one.
As well, in regards to frequent flyers, does it get flagged up?
Yes, absolutely it does, and they get treated differently.
Because obviously, you know, speaking to emergency service, we know that she does get flagged up because a lot of people have seen her on live having these episodes and have called ambulances for her. Then when the ambulances turn up, she's fine. And her dad says, we don't need you. And also the police to do welfare checks. Now we've had a few people say, oh, you know, they wouldn't flag it up and they wouldn't do this and they wouldn't do that. So I just wanted to clarify that with you.
So definitely 100%. Someone that's a frequent flyer would have a care plan put in place by one of the clinicians that work there. I mean, I don't know if you've ever rang like 111. We're actually all in the same building and they say, oh, we'll get a clinician to call you back, type of thing. So a clinician would put in a care plan that she will be aware of. And if they call in, it comes straight up on our thingy, straight up on the screen, see notes. And you click on the notes and there will be on there saying the person's care plan. 9 times out of 10, their care plan is if they phone with certain symptoms, which are the go-to ones, we pass the call over to a clinician to deal with for them to speak to them.
Yeah.
So we don't just send an ambulance. That if it's in the care plan, it will go over to clinicians to speak to them first, unless they're calling with something that's not listed. I know that sounds absolutely crazy and bizarre, but say like someone phones every single night with breathing difficulties, it will be, if they phone for breathing difficulties, a clinician speaks. But if they phoned and said they've been stabbed, they would still be dealt with the same way as any other person that called.
Yeah.
Now,
does that make sense?
A situation with Kirsten where there's different people ringing. saying that she's having these episodes. What happens in that situation?
So the first thing we do if they're not with them, we ask, can you transfer us to someone that is with them? And if they say no and they're just on live, unfortunately it does get treated as normal. But once you put in her,
she's classed as a frequent flyer, would it just still be put down?
No, so that's what I mean. As soon as we put her address in, it would flag up that she's a frequent flyer for X, Y, and Z. So in her case, seizures. And then obviously if someone was calling for seizure, it would go to a clinician to deal with. We wouldn't just send an ambulance. But if she phoned and said that she'd been stabbed, that's completely different to what she normally calls with. So then we would treat it normally.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? It's a bit complicated, but their frequent flyer episodes get treated differently.
And then, obviously, if it was like, say, the person who's, rings up, if they had a genuine illness that caused them to need to ring up all the time, would that still be the same situation? Or would it be like, well, no, this person has this illness and generally could be in trouble?
Yeah. So like Addison's disease. If they phone up and said that they're having an adrenaline crisis, that's Cat 1, let's go. It doesn't matter if they phoned every night of the week. That's a condition we have to go to. But that person wouldn't have a care plan.
Because there's a genuine need for it.
Yeah, care plans only get put into place if paramedics have attended a property on numerous times and not been needed. And there's been, they have suspected that it's not genuine. But like I said, it takes quite a bit to get a care plan. But she would definitely have one the amount of times that she's called.
Maybe that's a care plan she always talks about then. Maybe it's
Yeah, she would definitely have one. But like I said, if there was, conditions, like I said, Addison's disease, it's a really nasty disease. It doesn't matter how many times you call with that, we would, be Cat 1 in it,
I lost a friend to Addison's at the beginning of the year. It's all you have to say is Addison's crisis and
yeah, that's it. Literally, if you hear that word, your heart starts racing. It's all systems go. So they wouldn't have a care plan because every time they've been called out, they've been needed. It's when they're getting called out and they are not taking the person to hospital and they're not needed time and time again. That's when it goes to the management of the service to discuss putting in a care plan. And that's when a social worker would go out and they would actually explain the care plan to her. So she would be fully aware. She's not...
Why they don't want ambulance ringing and they keep ringing up and saying that the hoax calls.
Yeah. Because also, unfortunately, when she got that care plan in place... things can be put in against her. She can actually be possibly charged. Unfortunately, there has been counts where people have actually been charged with it because despite the care plan, they've still been calling.
Yeah. Do you know the patient transport ambulances?
Yep.
Let's say if someone needed to go and get a tube change.
Mm-hmm.
How long in general would it take to arrange for a transport to be arranged?
So it would depend which tube, but it can be anything. Patient transport can be anything from 2 to 6 hours.
So what are the chances of it being within 10 minutes?
Patient transport wouldn't, no.
Like
to book patient transport from home to hospital for an appointment, it's got to be booked at least 24 hours in advance. Now, if you book from a hospital to home, then it's like 2 to 6 hours.
Yeah, the GP can book it the same day.
Well, yeah.
We've had calls.
That's good to know, actually. Thank you for that.
Yeah, we've had calls from the GP. A GP can book it for the same day, darling. They just got to ring and explain why. They ring on a different number. So, like when we answer the call and say, you're through to 999, is the patient breathing? With them, we say, we're through to 999, how can we help? Because we know that it's a doctor calling. Like they phone a different number. They don't phone 999. But yes, they can arrange patient transport for the same day.
But say if you're at home at 5 o'clock in the morning and your NJ tube breaks.
Yeah.
Say for me, for example, Carly's judge broke at 5 o'clock in the morning. I would not be able to ring patient transport myself and get transport within 10 minutes, would I?
No, because you can't arrange patient transport yourself.
Exactly.
Thank you. Because there was a situation the other day where she said that, my tube's just broke. I'm going to have to go and get it changed. And then 10 minutes later, she was saying that she was in the back of the patient transport eating mince with the whoever was in the back with her. That was
you can't call them yourself. It has to be a medical person that arranges it.
Oh no, you can call patient transport yourself. I do it for Carly.
Yeah, I mean at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh right, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You can't do it yourself at that time. They don't open till 8.
There would be no one there. It would have to be, they would have to say, like, I don't know. I don't even know what the circumstances would, because an ambulance would just take her in. So I don't know. I'm confused.
It's bad when a call handler doesn't even know.
I don't know what you would do. Because at 5 o'clock in the morning, we would just send an ambulance out. Like, it wouldn't be like Cat 1 or anything. It would be a Cat 3, which, aren't, the fastest, but they would go out and then they would take her in. So I can't understand on what circumstance that. No, I don't know.
Shit, basically.
Imagine ringing an ambulance, me and saying, right, me feeding tubes come out, I need an ambulance. Like, what?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair though, I've heard some funny things.
I can imagine. But she has a mobility car.
Does she?
Yeah.
It's a nan's, isn't it?
Well, she said 3 different things. One, she said that she doesn't have one and she can only be transported in patient transport ambulance. Then she said she uses her nan's. Then she said that her mum has a mobility car for her, which they use to take her to appointments and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just confusing.
Why would she even need patient transport then?
But she's also said that she's not safe to be in the mobility cars because of epilepsy, that she's just not safe to be in it.
Right.
It's just for the accessories to make her look more poorly.
I've only come across this girl like the last couple of days and I've been completely fascinated because so much of what she says, I'm just like, what? Huh?
What about the old woman on the stretcher in the ambulance?
Oh, she said she got patient transport home from hospital and she was in the back with 2 other people, and she said that she was really annoyed because they made her sit on a chair and they put an old lady who was going back to her care home, who she said was about 90, in a stretcher. But she wasn't in a stretcher.
No, that wouldn't have happened.
But she was raging that this old lady, poor Bev, from the care home around the corner, was on the stretcher, and Kirsten was not happy because she had to sit in a chair.
You mean she was raging because there was someone actually poorly and she wasn't?
And she was saying, I did see her notes, but I wasn't going to read them. Yeah, too right, you're not going to fucking read them. Not your notes.
Why would there be notes? Why would she be able to see notes? No. No.
I mean, and if anyone is in here and unsure of what's going on or about this person, on my profile, the first pinned video is a short video just of a kind of gist of what she does. It's not the full story. I haven't got enough hours in the day to explain the whole thing. But it's not just a case of she's faking illnesses. She's a nasty person. She does horrible things. And she's getting money off people.
What's been fascinating me is, unfortunately, sorry, I've just read that comment. Asthma attack is Cat 1, darling. I've seen the horrible things that she's been saying and people will believe her. It's really dangerous. That's the thing that's bothering me. Some of the things that she says, if people listen to her, is really dangerous.
And she actually gives medical advice to people wrongly as well. It's not even just that she talks about her own. She'll go in the comments in her own chat and give medical advice. That's really, really dangerous. It's not even just that she talks about her own. She'll go in the Kirsty.
Like, I wouldn't even give medical advice. It's personal. Like, it's every person is different. You need to speak to someone at the time. Like, you wouldn't give medical advice. I would never give medical advice, and I'm trained, but I wouldn't do that. Not like people you don't see, strangers. What's good for you might not be good to them. They might have a reaction to something. Do you know what I mean? You wouldn't do it. You just wouldn't do it.
She claimed to be a nurse. So last year when she was going live, there was no one out on her. People were obviously knew that things weren't adding up, but she was literally saying, I'm a nurse, I've been to university, I know everything. And then when people started, outing her and the awareness came up, she backtracked and said, oh no, I never said I was a nurse. But to find out if someone's a nurse, you can go on the whatever that thing is and see if they've got I don't know the whole gist of it, but I know
as a nurse, you should know better to then give out medical advice. That's something that's like rule 1. You just don't do that.
She told someone to take their tracheostomy out because they didn't need it.
Oh my God.
People who aren't sure, a tracheostomy is a breathing tube through a hole in the throat that essentially assists people breathing. She told someone to remove it.
That's so dangerous.
And then she was saying she was end of life, and obviously she's not end of life.
She told me I was wrong about how much fluid my daughter could lose a day, and then I called her out on it, and then she accused me of having Munchausen's by proxy.
She came after Carly and Kirsty badly. So every video Kirsty was posting of Carly, she was commenting Munchausen by proxy. She was threatening to get social services take Carly away. She was sitting on her live calling Kirsty the world's worst mother, saying she made her daughter ill, calling Carly horrendous. I'm not going to repeat what was said, but about a child's looks, comment on that, saying that she should have been swallowed and all that. And this is the real Kirsten. This is, I know people tend to say, well, she could be mentally unwell. I feel bad for her. At first, when I first started speaking to her, I felt sorry for her. Even when I started the awareness, I felt sorry for her and wanted to get her help. But the things that we've heard in the background, I can't have sympathy for her.
She people need to keep reporting her, because there is things that can, I know it sounds weird, but you can actually get people banned from social media altogether and things like that. You know what I mean?
I don't know how it hasn't happened already. It's insane.
I don't know how it has.
It's a long process as well, and
it's ridiculously wrong. It's disgusting. It's the same as if people used to call in a lot just to be rude down the phone to us, and to get them, to get plans put in place and that. It's ridiculously long. It's stupid. But yeah, like I said, I don't know this girl very well. I've only come across the last couple of days, but I just heard that. I was like, I'm just going to pop on just to, tell you from my point of view.
It's a rabbit hole. Grab your snacks, buckle in, because it is a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I just want to make it clear in the chat for people that don't know what has just been said, that I didn't make my child sick. She's got a very rare genetic condition. I just wanted to make that clear.
And Carly's fight, the woman speaking is called Kirsty. People might not know your name. Her name's Kirsty. This is not Kirsten.
Definitely not, yeah, but I did not make her sick. She's got a rare genetic condition. I just wanted to make that clear.
Right, guys, thank you for having me on. Like I said, I just wanted to pop on and just give you, my point of view from it, because as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, that's one thing I can actually categorically say, bullshit.
Massively appreciated. Thank you for coming on.
There's not a lot of things that, I can't say whether people was lying or stuff, but as soon as she said that, I was like, okay, now that I can call you out on. I can,
But it helps a lot as well, especially people who, comment saying, oh, you're just bullying her, it's a hate train and everything. So when we get people on who work in a certain profession that can debunk what she says.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not up with a lot of, medical conditions, etc. We only trained on, what we need to be trained on. But the one thing, I do know is the process of ambulances.
Thank you for your knowledge. It's really interesting.
Right. Have a good evening, girls.
And you too.
And I'll stay watching.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries. Bye.
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 And we've got a big crowd tonight, haven't we?
Have you seen that comment there? I was told by her to OD on my sarcosine injection due to not selling her none.
And I've got screenshots of a lot of people saying they bought money for not bought a money. You can't buy money. What the hell? Sorry, it's late, guys. They bought drainage packs. They bought tubes. They bought a glucose. The list is endless. And she goes to people and asks to buy their medication.
She told her mum of a child with epilepsy. Well, as for the medication, the rescue medication, and said that she needed it more than her child did.
Yeah. And she has, Hayley, thank you. She also has an ITU bed on standby that no one else is allowed to use, just Kirsten. They have...
As if like people like on her level of poorly could just have ITU beds saved for them. Like there's that many of them. Like they're not short of ITU beds, are there?
Yeah, and she has her fast pass. She goes straight from her room to the ITU bed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, clicks her fingers and she's there. She's on first name terms. Honestly, the things that this girl comes out with is wild, and it's getting crazier every day. Yes, she does have carers. Although she has.
Is the server still recording?
I'm not sure.
I just gonna say because just let the woman know that we're in the box. Just
Chaz. So we have someone called the Observer who look at me, Chaz.
Hi, Chaz.
We have someone who records the lives and uploads it to YouTube. Check them out. The Observer, amazing videos. Is it okay if that was recorded to be posted on YouTube? I normally ask first, but it's been...
Yeah, and if you're not comfortable, I'm sure they can edit that bit out. So
yeah,
just
if it's not comfortable, guys,
don't worry or anything. Just see how you feel.
Well, I don't want to be on YouTube anymore. Sorry, guys.
I'll kick you out the box, son.
Delete them all. I'm joking, by the way, Observer.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. Thank you so much. So, guys, the Observer on YouTube does great awareness videos on not just Kirsten. You never know. You'll go and find Kirsten, find yourself another rabbit hole.
There's loads, isn't there?
there's lots out there. Yeah, but then there's so many wrong ones on this app now. Big up the Observer. Big up. But yeah, it's a wild ride, guys, honestly, and we're not going to talk about that creator. One rabbit hole's enough, never know.
What creator?
You.
What?
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to stick with Kirsten because obviously it can get messy bringing other, and there's been a lot of drama in the awareness community of people turning against people, and we do try to stay out of it. We haven't as much today, but
this isn't just like a kind of clout chase and awareness of anyone. Let's just hunt down everyone we want and loads of people going on here. This is quite focused, isn't it? I know that there are some people on here who just want to grab anyone and just rip everyone apart, but that's not what this is.
And like we've always said, we don't do this for views, don't do it for likes, don't do it for money, don't do it for any of that. We started this months ago. Like, this was, before it even blew up and came on the FYP, we started doing this. Kirsty was actually the first one to make a video to out her. And we've made friends from there, and we're all working together. But the thing is, we've said whether it was 10 people or 10,000 people in the live, it does not matter as long as people are becoming aware of this person. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter who. Obviously, you all matter. I'm not saying you don't. You are all important, but we don't do. If I was doing this for clout, I'd have my big fat head on this screen. I know it is already on the screen, but I'd have my name, I'd using a personal account. And the only reason I outed myself was because I was adrenaline because Kirsten found me.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify something as well that we all said this afternoon. It were a smaller live this afternoon, but so I'm going to say it again. If people have the same illnesses, it doesn't mean that everyone's treatment is the same. Just because someone's got one illness doesn't mean everyone has to be having the same treatment as one particular person. So like we established this afternoon, like Carly's Judge fed, and then there were a few people in the chat that they were peg fed with the same condition as Carly, or there was like you becoming me with the gastroparesis, but you can eat. You don't
Mine's really mild. I think some people just think gastroparesis is like all or nothing, where you're either tube fed or you're not. Mine is so mild that I'm working through FODMAP with a dietitian, and I'm nowhere near needing anything like that.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean I haven't got it.
exactly. And it's like with all this that's going on now, it's like a lot of people think it's getting to a point where if people will look at people and say, "Right, well, you haven't got that condition because you haven't got that." Well, no, that's not the case because everything is treated differently. It's the same with any condition. No one's treated the same for anything.
And also, please do not go and attack anyone in the chronic illness community. If you see someone on live with tubes, don't go into their live and be like, "Why have you got the tubes?" Just because you've seen things about Kirsten. I always try to put my videos, anything I post on here is based on Kirsten, specifically the paralysis, because paralysis can be different, but it is based on Kirsten and what Kirsten says.
Yeah, and I just want to say as well, people with feeding tubes can eat. They can. They don't have to not eat because they've got a feeding tube. They 100% can eat. Carly eats when she wants to. So again,
Unless, of course, it was someone with like an unsafe swallow or something, obviously. But
but don't go into people's lives with feeding tubes. If you see them eating, saying, "Well, you can't do that. You've got a tube," because you 100% can eat. And a lot of people with tubes do eat just for the pleasure of eating. Because imagine you've been able to eat all your life, and then one day everything you eat just comes straight back up. That must be awful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just stopping that. No, it's a natural thing to do, isn't it? Is eat.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the stuff that we don't debunk Kirsten with, it's not like you can just apply that to other people. We're debunking her on the basis of historical stuff that she's claimed. It's not just about debunking that condition. It's like, no, Kirsten said this about her condition. So don't take it as like we're trying to say that about everyone, as Kirsty said.
Yeah, because unfortunately, because of the backlash from all this, the chronic illness community is a bit of a mess. People are scared to make videos. People are scared to come on live. People are scared to talk out about their conditions in case they get classed as a faker or a munchie or whatever that is. But we always say that, we even say about Kirsten, don't go and give her any hate. We don't give out a username. Do not contact her. Don't contact the mods. If you want to know what's going on with the situation, follow the awareness lives. There's a lot out there. 1 minute, put my teeth back in. There's a lot out there that will keep you in the loop with it. Her profile is private anyway, so you wouldn't be able to get in there. And we don't encourage people going over and giving her hate. One, because, she is a human being at the end of the day. Even if she's done horrendous stuff, it's not nice having 300 odd people go and give her hate. And two, it'll turn her into a victim. And there is a lot going on in the background, investigation-wise. Police are involved. There's a lot going on. We don't want to ruin the chances of getting her off the app and getting her help because people are going over there and giving a shit, basically. Like, we don't have any contact with her. I don't anymore. I did when I was speaking to her, but since doing this awareness, I don't, and I wouldn't even dream. Like, I've got ways I can contact her, but I wouldn't even dream of doing that.
Yeah. And like, we're totally welcome if anyone ever in the chat, like as you have tonight, if anything's ever said, because it's always just opinions and none of it is someone giving medical advice to anyone. If we're talking about conditions and something doesn't sound right, or you know something we've said's a bit different because you've experienced it, like please do say that. We are totally up for being challenged and we don't want to have misinformation. So if we ever do get something a bit wrong, please like come in and tell us. And you don't need to like be attacking, just be respectful and chat to us. And by all means, come in a box and talk to us, because we are humans and we will get it wrong. And we do just talk from experience, and different trusts and different areas will do things differently. So we welcome you coming in and being like, that's not how it is with me.
We said that earlier, didn't we? We said that obviously, you know, we're not medically trained. We're just people who have these conditions, you know, go through the stuff. We can understand. Also, we've been affected by Kirsten, so we're not perfect. We're not going to get everything right. If we do say something that might be wrong, more than welcome to correct us, and then we can learn and correct ourselves. Because, you know, like Becoming Me said, we're not going to get everything right all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, apart from Bruno Mars.
And all we can talk about is our personal experiences, which again, everyone's experiences are going to be different, because my experience, I've only ever experienced with a child, which an experience with a child is going to be different to an experience with an adult. Or like, even if it's another child, my experience with Carl is going to be completely different to someone else's child's experience of the conditions as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's everyone's and every person's experience is different, and not everyone's is the same, and it doesn't make anyone a liar or they're not telling the truth because their experience is different to what someone else has experienced. And no one should be made to feel that way either, just because it's not what someone else has experienced either. Everyone's like care plan, experiences, treatments, it's all different. It's not the same for every person.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you've ever been part of any MDT meetings, but even doctors will sit in a room and disagree with each other about stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not always black and white, and things are done differently sometimes. And there is someone in the chat, I don't know how to say your name, Elise? I don't know how to say your name, but I've been in chats with them before, and I think they're a paramedic, and they've always been dead respectful, and they're great in the chat, just talking about experiences and stuff. So I feel like the girls would agree that people like that are always welcome to come into a box if they ever fancied it. Never any pressure. Like, it's not as simple as that. I know a lot of people wouldn't want to do that, but you've been really good and informative in the chat. So if you ever did want to come in, you'd be welcome.
And we the thing with these lives is we welcome anyone in here, no matter what your opinion is, whether you support Kirsten, whether you are not believing it, you're welcome to have your say in here. There are lines that we do draw, you know what I mean? Like, be respectful, no hate to anyone, like, obviously that, because if someone comes in here that maybe is believing it, firstly, they have a right to believe her, because we can't speak for them, you know, they're their own person. But also, by some miracle, they might see something and think, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers of people actually believing it are going down and down and down because of, you know, the lives and the videos like this. And like Alex is another good one as well, who has all the videos out there, and Kirsten, Wheelie Girl, and Chronic Lives, you know, they're great as well for this type of stuff. But it's made me feel better getting messages and hearing people say, oh, I believed her, I was going to send her money, but thanks to seeing these videos, now I know not to.
Yeah, and can I just say, please never, ever take medical advice off her, or even anyone on the internet, even if they are genuine medical professionals. Anyone could just say to you, well, I'm a nurse. If you've got any conditions, Jesus Christ, what am I trying to say here now? Any concerns, that's the one. Speak to your medical professionals, not people on the internet.
You can ring 111, you can ring the pharmacy if it's medication related, or your doctor.
Yeah, never take advice from anyone online. They very well could be a medical professional, you know what I mean? But you don't know that. And I think it's common knowledge that medical professionals should not be giving out medical advice online anyway. But yeah, 100% never take anything offline. Always go to your medical professionals.
And if the nurse down the road offers you a cannula, say no.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap.
Sorry, I had to put that in there because I thought I haven't cracked a joke in a while. What's happening?
Yeah, but 100%, like no matter who anyone says they are on this app, like as far as direct medical advice, never take it. It's one thing to be talking about conditions and experiences and things that you've had, but for someone to tell you what to do in a medical sense, like, I don't care who they are, like, they shouldn't be doing that. And I think any professional in their right mind wouldn't do that. So yeah, just be careful.
Don't take any. I mean, I'm not even going to say just medical. I'd say advice in general. Don't take it at first. Honestly,
don't listen to us. Christ.
Although I will say the only advice, and I'm sorry to people that probably have not been in these lives and don't understand how weird our conversations can get. Let me take a breath. But the only advice I will give, if you need to give a poo sample, cling film.
But someone's just put in, someone called Shell has just put, I have Turner syndrome and I won't make a video of my conditions now because of her. Now, you shouldn't be made to feel like that either, and it's not fair because you want to raise awareness of an illness that you have got. Like, I felt like that when it first came out. No, that's wrong, nothing come out, did it? When she turned on me and Carly, but then I thought, well, no, why should I stop spreading awareness on a very rare genetic disorder that probably, I'd say 95% of the people in this chat had never heard of?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to stop doing that, and don't make her stop you from doing that either. Because,
and you have our support.
Yeah, 100%. There's more people behind you than there is behind her, trust me.
Yeah, 100%. And we've got a really nice community going on, you know. We've set up a Discord for people, and it's not about Kate, the Discord. There is a locked channel about her. But, you know, we've got this little community of people with similar things to each other, and even just similar interests, similar illnesses. And it's nice to see that from a situation so negative, like Kirsten's, that's such a good positive. Like, I didn't know these two people, 3-4 months ago. And now they will not leave me alone.
I won't. No, she stalks me.
No, literally, she had a way on the phone to me.
Mate, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say next.
No. Okay, I'll take them back.
I keep trying to get it on with this one, but Kirsty won't let us.
Yeah. The link for the Discord's in my bio. You may have to click it and then click the 3 dots and use it as a web browser. If that doesn't work, send me a message if you want in the Discord, and I will try and I'll get the link to you. It's a new thing for us. We are not clued up. We've got an amazing person, Drew, who is helping us, telling us what to do in the mod side of it. But it's just a nice community, and I think that's what people need in all of this. Like, you know, it can be draining, and oh, here she is, Drew. Hello, big up, Drew. Big up, Drew. But it's draining. It can be very draining, and it can be triggering, and it can be upsetting. So there's always someone to talk to.
Hello, Jackie.
Hello, Jackie. I'm doing my job. And there'll be a lot of random conversations. We even have a channel for awkward health issues that maybe people...
Poo pics.
Not poo pics. That's my speciality. Sorry guys, we tend to get weird. Not to be fair, girls, I'm very proud of you. We stay quite serious.
I know, well, because we had about 300 people watching, we had to be.
I mean, I'm sweating because I've had to keep in my weirdness.
Yeah, like, and we have Cards Against Humanity nights, which are pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have game night. We do our lives are not about Kirsten every time. And if you do want to join just for Kirsten, that's absolutely fine. You know, obviously my page is about Kirsten, but we do as well, like, have game nights, and we have dance. You know, we have dancers, gingerbread dancers, musical statues, questions, answers, random shit. Honestly, it can be the most randomest things ever. But sometimes I will literally be in stitches, tears rolling down, laughing. And we do talk about poop a lot, so if you don't like poop...
A lot.
When will you guys be playing Cards Against Humanity again? We normally do it on the weekends. It's Kirsty's birthday on Sunday, guys. So we could make a little game night for Kirsty's birthday. And I've got me blowers that I haven't been able to use yet. So excited to play with them.
I didn't realise it's Sunday. Happy birthday to you. We'll sing happy birthday to people who have birthdays on the lives as well.
Yeah, if it's your birthday, let us know, and we can even get a magic song up. I feel like I'm talking to children, I'm so sorry. But
duvet on at the minute. Duvet cover.
My nose isn't running, no. My nose doesn't normally run with a cold anyway. Like, it just gets bunged up. I don't get why they're so rude either, honestly.
I'm glad you're good. We're all good, thank you. Is it her or is it your son that keeps disappearing? I have to keep returning. I know that she keeps going quiet. Thank you, the observer. But if anyone else has issues with it, just obviously let me know. And if the volume's too quiet, I can turn it up as well. No, it's just a duvet cover.
It's so nice. It's from B&M.
Thank you, Liz.
That's you, lovely. I know. Takes nothing to be kind. Not really, no. I tend to be someone that gets more of a bunged nose, so I might sound a little bit more nasally
before.
when I talk,
Love your duvet cover. It's from B&M. It's so soft. I have a question. I can't guarantee I'll answer it, but I'll try my best. What's your question?
Do you want me to go in and I can answer questions on the chat?
If you could, that would be absolutely perfect. Thank you.
Do it in between my colouring.
Yeah, my headache, babe. I'll be alright.
I feel like there's a filter on this live though, because it looks a bit golden.
It looks really yellow.
It does, doesn't it? Let me see if I can try and sort this out.
Wait.
If she's permanently tooth-fed, how aren't her teeth rotted?
So your teeth don't rot necessarily. Actually, let me just...
Yeah.
I don't want sub only, lovely. It wouldn't stop it regardless.
I think it's just as long as you take care of them, like you brush them and whatnot.
Like you still need to brush your teeth.
Yeah, like the acid. Is this normal behaviour? Yeah.
Unfortunately, I live alone, so it's a bit unsafe.
Oh, where's that comment gone?
I don't really know what to do, but I'll be fine.
Thank you, plant-based panda.
Thank you. was quickly like frantically scrolling up to find it. From Queensland, Australia. Hello Belinda, how are you? Build up a flat rock tooth as well because of excess pressure on the gums. What's going on?
I think this is the start of it.
Hang on 2 seconds, guys. I don't want to trigger anyone or anything like that.
Just turn it.
Yeah, turn it down a little bit. Just.
The Observer, providing you with the latest TikTok drama from across the UK.